Hey, you saw in this video silver's next all-time high price. I'm going to be discussing that and just put the question out there and hopefully get some type of a, general mindset of what each and every individual believes silver's next all-time high price is going to be, whether it's via a crash or manipulation ends. I would love to hear what price you think 1 ounce of silver is going to cost at the next situation that causes spot price to go parabolic or rise up high and go crazy. So before we get into this, I'd love to say if you haven't done so already and you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe, and of course let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments, whether they're aligned with mine or absolutely disagree or just whatever that may be. Please do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. So looking at this, first I'll mention a few things. If we're talking next all-time high, there's many scenarios we could look at, the doomsday, Mad Max, end of the world scenario. But I'd want to put it somewhere along the scenario of, or get some answers, somewhere generally what we had in 2008. So nothing too hardcore intense, because in the end of the day, anything's possible. I'm going to go over a few things, but anything is possible, so we can take that into account. So there's no number that you can't give that we could all absolutely say that's impossible. You could say $1 million or £1 million an ounce. Anything and everything is possible, but I would love to know what you believe it can hold at, and also how long it can hold, because we can get a spike in anything, any commodity, and whether it holds that is a different story. So I'd say, give or take, what price would you give an ounce of silver holding that price, or holding its price at 6 weeks plus? I know that's a price a lot of dealers would look at before they start, taking in large orders. If it's a new massive spot price of $500, for instance, if it turned 500 tomorrow, I know a lot of dealers wouldn't exactly be offering that buyback price, because there's a very high chance it could literally tank back down. So everybody needs to protect their own neck. So I'll jump into a few things before I give my final price. And first off, I would say I'm not a believer, or I don't subscribe to the thought that silver is extremely scarce, extremely rare. We're running out of it, peak silver, and the likes of. I've heard it all before out there. I've never seen no evidence, any evidence that was put out there. Some of the pundits ended up backtracking. So for me, when it's put out there that's extremely scarce, and also gold, all the gold above ground is still here, I don't believe in those two, subscriptions put out there. I think it's just not something a lot of the miners, or it's been made to look not as attractive, even mining the stuff. So there's not a lot of people digging for it. As much as you may be emotional towards it or love it, if there's no money producing the stuff or digging the stuff out of the ground, then no one's going to do it. No one's going to do it for free. And if you can't sell it, if the elite, you could technically say, have manipulated to the point of that it's just uninterested to individuals. There's nobody on the planet that shouldn't be stacking this stuff yet. Easily 99% of the planet isn't interested in this stuff. It just is what it is. You may know all the facts and have all the answers to what it is and what it's going to be, but currently there's damn near little interest in this stuff from a more of a general public mindset. So that just is what it is. So I don't believe, when I'm coming up with a number, that it's extremely scarce. I don't think there's enough evidence put out there where we can all agree on that. In fact, there's nothing, if anything, there's just been a pundit that sells silver that's put that out there to help push more silver, I would say. Of course it could be true, and it, until we can see otherwise, I'm just not a subscriber to that. So taking that into account, that's not going to, well, that has adjusted what I end up seeing the final valuation when my price has changed since I've even started stacking to what it could be, to what I realistically think it could be. So taking into account that I personally, on personal thoughts and opinions here, don't see it being extremely scarce and we're going to run out of silver tomorrow, wouldn't add that into my equation. Now, another thing I would say is we have a very strong modern collector coin market now, where a lot of dealers can make some coin off of the silver coins. And so taking that into account, I don't know, throwing a number that's always been put out there, $1,000 ounce silver, £1,000 ounce silver, what that would do to the current coin market. But once again, gold's been the price that silver currently is. And this is many, many years ago, so it's a whole different climate we was living in. But it's been that price before, and we're seeing it now. But you had your everyday coin, so there wasn't, so technically was collector coins of the day. But I couldn't see it personally now. It could just literally wipe that entire market out, and anything and everything then technically becomes precious. Who knows? But we wouldn't be able to function currently. We could, but maybe not with a $1,000 ounce silver spot price, especially with the modern collector coin market. It just becomes, we're going to have to start stacking what copper, bronze, and zinc and copper, nickel. We'd have to go back to that and see what we could do from there. But with silver at that price, I would not put my own personal price sticker label of $1,000 today, just for that reason alone. Now, I could also totally understand and see why there would be a bigger push to keep silver manipulated, i.e. not have the price spike. Silver is a key ingredient. Now I'm talking about how much it's going to be, not when it's going to be, because I know some of the guys get over emotional when I do talk about when. We're just referring to it's that day's come. What do you see the new all-time high being and holding for up to 6 weeks possible? But as I was just mentioning, I can see, whoever is in charge of manipulating it right now doing a greater job when the final day does come, because of its role it plays as a key ingredient in many industries, whether it's medicine, automotive, and solar energy and the likes of, because it's used and it's a key ingredient. Some say inelastic. We've got new technologies out there. Who knows what they're constantly coming up with? I don't think we're going to be held bondage to the point where it's silver for the rest of our life and it can't be replaced, or a new technology can't come along, depending on who you ask. We've got UFOs out there, man-made, so who knows? But I do know, as it is, it's more beneficial for a lot of people. I also know out there that it's not massive amounts, depending on what you're talking about here in silver. So, the price is obviously absorbed, but it would just work better for general industry sake and peace of mind if it was kept at a reasonable price. That could mean it couldn't go over a certain cap. Who knows? But I could most definitely see the manipulators keeping it at a set price similar to where it is right now. It's great for everybody. I mean, technically right now, I would easily say it's an industrial metal, hands down. And the collector coins are easily able to exploit that and really have a field day, because you get bigger premiums on silver. So everybody's gaining that's in big industry, apart from us guys that are stacking it now, hoping and wishing on that big special day to come. So with that in mind, I would give my own personal thoughts and opinions here. An ounce of silver, a price tag of around, I'd say $100. On the next spike, regardless, or whatever that may be, I would say £80 sterling, $100. I think at that price, we could still have the current collector coin market that we have now undisturbed. We're technically paying these kind of prices when we look at a silver proof coin. So if you're looking at your standard weight coin, as much as it may be, I think a higher price would do it justice. It would do it great. It really would work wonders for the metal, because you could get a flux or influx of new customers, and starting at $100 an ounce, it's anybody coming new through the door, it's going to be the norm. When I speak or hear of people talking about once upon a time they were picking up an ounce of gold for like $200, $150, it's unbelievable. But it is what it is. I came along when it was down up in the 700 plus when I started seriously stacking. So you're not gonna, all you could end up doing is saying, I wish, I was stacking then, or lucky you, if only you took more advantage of it then. But if it jumped to 100 plus right now, everybody watching this and everybody stacking right now would be in the green, just because of they stacked when it was at a very low price. I have no doubt in my mind we will get a spike. We've seen 50, i.e. £38 sterling. So we are definitely going to get another spike. I don't think we're going to be sitting in the dumps forever. When we get is a different story. But I think we could easily see $100 and hold. It could be the new level. I think at 100, who knows? The big boys in charge could say, okay, it is what it is. We'll leave it at that. The previous video before this one, I already spoke on what gold could do. So we'll talk on that if you go back and see on that video there. But I think at $100, an ounce of silver would be more than good for, everybody who's been stacking to this day to be paid in full, and moving forward, anybody coming in. It's a high price, but in comparison to a lot of the other things that people are spending junk on these days, it'd be business as usual. But that's just my own price tag and what I think it could be. Once again, I'd love to get a general mindset on what you may think it would be. It could most definitely be 10,000 if you want to put that out there. What would the economy or the world look like? Who knows? But that could just be the price. I know those that advocate pump and really push it say there's going to be no limit. You know, it is what it is, and once we break free, there's going to be no stopping it. But there will be. You know, they're not going to allow it to just run away of itself, especially when they can have or easily halt or manipulate or tax or even outlaw a metal. These are things I don't think people take into account. Yeah, it's not right, but it's not as easily tradable as, say, something like a cryptocurrency. So it's a physical asset. That's its pluses now when you want to stack it and keep it outside the system, but it could also be somewhat of a hindrance when you want to start liquidating it at a later date. So take these things into account. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this, guys. What do you see the next all-time high price on silver being? So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments, guys. Once again, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the rebound.